Hi, Eric. The league-owned website is reporting Ryan Fitzpatrick has COVID. Are you aware of this? Were you alarmed to hear this news? And how hurtful do you think it will be not to have Fitz on Sunday?
Yeah, I mean, I got the news today. I mean, it hurts coming. He's a leader of our team. He brings energy even in the Zoom meetings. So I mean, just to hear it, but hear that he's positive. I mean, it's down for all of us, but I mean, I'm sure it's worse for him because one, he loves the game, and two, I mean, nobody wants to catch COVID, right? So, but kind of with that, you just got to push forward.
Travis?
Hey, Eric, good afternoon, man. You've played in a lot of big games in your career, and you've mentioned before how much it means to you to be a part of this Dolphins team. What does it mean for you to be in this position to play in a game of this magnitude with this team, and how can your experience in big games kind of provide some direction for the younger guys who haven't seen a big Week 17 game like this in the NFL?
Yeah, I mean, this means a lot. Just kind of come from where we came last year. We're definitely like bottom five in the NFL last year. It was a struggle to now this year to have a chance to get to the playoffs, and obviously you got to take it game by game. So this is the last game of the season. So, but kind of with the young guys, I just kind of tell them like, actually I didn't really have to say much. They kind of know that they kind of matured through the season that just it's just a regular game. With the same regular game plan, technique, all that's the same. Only difference is it's just the last game of the season. So, so I didn't really have to say much.
Yeah.
Hey, Eric. Coach Flo mentioned that Coach Kuntz leads the third down defense meetings. And I was curious, how long can those meetings go, and in what way are they beneficial?
How long can they go? I'm not sure. I never actually really even timed it. I never really timed it. I mean, just as long as how much you want to talk about it. But I mean, obviously, you see, we put the emphasis on third down every week in our game plan. We even break it down by yards. So, and obviously, it's helped us a lot this year. I mean, coming off the field, I mean, that helps stop points right there.
Al?
Hi, Eric. How was the news broken to the team today about Ryan, and how would you describe the reaction when it was immediately revealed?
Yeah, Flo told us just in the team meeting this morning about his situation, and then I mean, we're on Zoom, so can't really tell everybody's reaction at the time, but my reaction was like, just praying for his health, because I mean, COVID, that's a real, that's a real deal thing. Whether you don't have symptoms or you do. So it's kind of praying that he doesn't have the symptoms, and he didn't spread it to his family or kids.
Yeah.
Hey, E, what's up, man? You talked a little bit earlier about just sort of the turnaround where you guys were last year to this year. What when you look at that, the full frame of, you guys went from 32 scoring defense to 1 so far this year. How are you able to put all of that into grips, and how you guys have really completely overdid this defense?
I mean, and also like it's a bunch of new guys that we have on the team than last year. So I think defensive wise, I feel like over 50% of the roster has flipped, right? So a lot of guys don't know. I mean, I try to tell them, but they don't know what we've been through last year. How we go from getting scored on damn near every drive to now we're getting off the field almost every third down. So I mean, just to see that flip, it is crazy though.
Travis?
Yeah, Byron Jones actually mentioned that this morning on Good Morning Football about the overturn of the roster and how guys have kind of bought in that way. But he also mentioned something I wanted to ask you about, Eric, and he said that Xavier Howard's the best player he's ever been around. What do you think about that statement?
Yeah, he's not lying. I mean, to have a pick 9 games straight, I mean, it got to the point where if he didn't have a pick, we're kind of like, like the Patriots game, we're kind of like, whoa, like, that's not normal, right? So, I mean, just and really to have a guy like that, that can, you can put him on any receiver and he can, produce turnovers like that. I mean, it's definitely like a comfort thing, within the defense.
All right, there's one more question here, Stafford.
Hero, what's up, man? Wanted to ask you, you guys have obviously come so far this season. If you didn't make the playoffs, would it be a big disappointment, or would you guys be able to see the success you guys made and the strides you guys made as a positive?
It'd be both. It'd be both. I mean, it'd be a big, disappointment. We put a lot of work in this year. I mean, a lot of work. Winning games that aren't easy, and really to have double-digit wins and to not make the playoffs. I mean, that hurts. But at the same time, kind of like at least where the guys like me, Bobby, X, who were here last year, to see that stride, especially like defensive-wise, to see that. Kind of that leap we took from last year, this year. I mean, it's positive for the years coming on.
Durham, I wanted to ask you, did you know that you were part of the most successful tight end unit in franchise history statistically? And what do you think about that?
I was unaware of that statistic until just now. But, I mean, that's cool to hear for sure. Obviously, I have a biased opinion, but I think we have one of the better tight end rooms in the NFL, just in terms of depth and across the board. And it also helps when you have a guy like Mike shouldering a lot of that production. So that's cool to hear, though.
Travis?
Hey, Durham, on the note of statistics there, you guys have rushed for 380 yards over the last 2 games combined. What can you personally do and the run game as a whole do this week to continue that success in the ground game?
Yeah, I think it's just staying consistent with what we're doing. It's week 17. We do what we do. Obviously, there's been an emphasis on, improving the run game as the season has gone on. And we've seen some results the last few weeks. And, like I've mentioned before in previous sessions, it's extremely important to be able to run the ball this time of year to win games against good teams. So that's something that we've emphasized. And I think just being consistent, across the board, is how we'll be successful moving forward.
Travis?
Me again. Back to the running game, the 2 guys that have really been the big part of the rushing yards last week, Miles and Savon. I was curious, those guys coming from the same college and now being here in the pros together, what have you recognized about their relationship that maybe stands out to you a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, that's a really cool story, first and foremost, knowing that they were roommates or whatever it was back at UW. So that's a cool story to begin with. But, I mean, I think it's just, another level to the camaraderie of this team. I think all these position groups are so close and, they obviously have a history and it's cool seeing them support each other. When Miles was out for a few weeks, he was supporting Savon when he was successful, and Savon's doing the same thing, with Miles when he has big games. So I think that's just something that, this team has that I don't think is extremely commonplace across the league, is just, support within position groups.
Hal?
Durham, it wasn't too long ago that we got the news about Ryan's positive test result, that he won't be available Sunday. I'd like to get your reaction to that, as well as your thoughts on how Tua is going to do.
Yeah, I mean, with all that happening today, you guys probably know more about it than I do, which is, normally how these things go when news breaks. But I think everyone at that position is prepared across the board. Guys who haven't seen, action this year are prepared. They've been prepared all year in practice and such. So, I think we'll be good moving forward. I think it'll be a testament just to how these guys have worked all year and kind of stayed ready.
Omar?
Durham, I wanted to ask you, you've been part of some Adam Gase teams. You've been part of last year's 5-11 team. What's so different about what you guys have going now and what that locker room? What is the tangible difference?
I think the one thing that stands out about this team is just, like I've mentioned a few times, just how kind of close it is, which is tough to do in a year like this because of obviously the unique circumstances. But I haven't been a part of a team thus far in the NFL that, is this tight across the board. There's support across the board. I think there's a trust that, other people are going to get their job done. So it kind of just allows you to focus on your own. And I think, we've been growing all year. I think that'll continue to happen. And I think that's the one, like you said, tangible thing that sticks out to me so far.
Barry?
Hi, Durham. We saw Jake out at practice as one of the quarterbacks today. Obviously, you know the offense as well as anyone, but from being around Jake some the last couple of years, does he strike you as someone who's really cerebral as well, has a strong grasp of the offense?
Definitely. You know, he's one of those guys that picks up things really fast.
And I hands offense this year.
Yeah. I mean, he's a guy that picks up things really fast. He always has been that way, you know, through my experiences with him over the last 2 years. And like I said earlier, he's a guy that's kind of stayed ready throughout this whole thing. Obviously, he's been, you know, on the roster, off the roster, but he's stayed ready. And obviously, we have a lot of confidence in him to be able to come in and pick things up, you know, on a very short-term notice.
All right, looks like we've got one question to go. Safid.
Durham, what's going on, man? You guys have obviously made a lot of, you know, progress this season. You know, how important is it for you guys to kind of finish the job and make the playoffs this week?
It's extremely important for us. You know, we talk about finishing strong, you know, all year, you know, dating back into virtual OTAs and training camp and things like that. And, you know, when you have an opportunity in week 17 to do just that, kind of the definition of the phrase finish strong, I think it's something that all the guys are excited about. Obviously, you know, a situation where you can win a game and make the playoffs. You know, there's not a ton of playoff experience on this team, and I think a lot of people are hungry to experience that. So I think it's just something that, you know, will get all the guys excited. It's something that we've talked about for so long, and there's an obvious kind of reward there to be had.
Isaiah, obviously you're very, very close to Ryan. What are your, you know, thoughts and wishes for Ryan at this time?
Yeah, you know, he's our guy. But if this year's taught us anything, it's to expect the unexpected, you know. So we all love Ryan, but we got a job to do. You know, I think that everybody is kind of focused on getting that done.
Mike?
Hey, Isaiah, I know you guys don't need any more motivation than you already have to make the playoffs, but with the news of Ryan and him having never been there in his 16-year career, does it just on a personal level, does it add any more motivation for you guys to want to get there for him, knowing you won't even be on the sideline in Buffalo?
Yeah, like you said, we all know what's at stake. We know how important this game is, and we're preparing and trying to go towards that, you know, trying to win one football game.
Travis?
Hey, Isaiah, how's it going, man? It seems to me that regardless of who the quarterback is, you always find a way to kind of make plays when they go off script in the scramble drill, and you find a way to kind of break off the route. What's the key to that? Like, what's the key to finding open space when the quarterback has to get out of the pocket and the play breaks down?
I think a lot of it is just seeing the same things, you know, trying to spend as much time as I can with these guys, seeing things how they see them, you know, so we're always on the same page, whether it's on script or off script. And I think that comes with just spending time with each other, watching film, talking through things that you're seeing on film. So you're always seeing the same things and speaking the same language.
Omar?
Isaiah, I got a question for you. You haven't been here for a month, and yet last week you were directing traffic, telling guys where to go. And this is a new offense for you, just like it's a new offense for everybody else. Where does that come from, man? Where does this grasp of offensive concepts and playbooks, where does that come from?
To be honest, man, I just study it a lot. I try to rehearse it as much as I can. I was taught at an early age to try to learn things conceptually, you know, so you're never stuck or pigeonholed in one spot, whether it's being in the slot or being outside. So when you learn things conceptually, it's easier for you to get on the field and be able to play. And also in times like that, because there's a million things going on the field, and sometimes somebody might forget where they're supposed to be or what the play may be. And so to have that, to be able to get them lined up and have them ready to go, and then you still have a good play instead of having to burn a timeout or have someone have their reaction.
Safid?
Isaiah, whatever happened to those shorts Fitz wore for the practice? Did you get them back? Did you get them washed? And I want to ask you, Are you gonna probably like wear your helmet to the side, maybe a tribute for Fitz one time on Sunday?
I actually have some. I didn't get mine back. I don't know what Fitz did with them, but I got the equipment guys got me another pair. These ones might be a little shorter than those actually. So yeah.